Hello, viewers, and welcome to the show. Today, we are diving into something that always gets people talking: DOWRY, dowry, yani bride price. Is it a celebration of love, or it has become a burden for families? With me is an incredible guest who will be unpacking this. Karibu sana, Rev.
Asante sana.
Briefly introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me, Linda. I appreciate. I'm Reverend Eliud Ngoku. I serve at Chuka, the place called Ndagani, in a church called JC Church. But I'm also a certified, registered, and licensed psychologist, and we're going to talk with Linda about this issue from every angle. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start
Yes.
from the beginning. What exactly is dowry?
Dowry is a cultural thing which people found going on. It's been there for the longest. It is where the woman's family is appreciated with something before they are able to release their daughter to be married to a certain family. That we can call it a gift or a debt or a payment that is given for the specifically for the woman, mostly so far as we understand in the African culture. Yeah. It's a dynamic issue because it happens at different stages. For people who cohabit, it happens when they are already married, even with kids. But for people who are planning for civil weddings and church weddings, it may happen before, during, or after the formalization of their marriage. So it depends mostly with the couple. But for church weddings, the highest probability is going to happen before the marriage takes place. Yeah.
Now that we have defined what dowry is, um, let us let's take it a little bit back.
Okay.
From those good old days, how they used to do it those days, and how it is being done now. Let's start with dowry then.
Um, I think it's only fair to say that the way it was done in the previous years is different from how it's done today, because during our parents' days, weddings were rare, obviously, and church was not such a powerful force those days. So what happened is the woman would be taken by the man, kind of like kidnapped and taken to his home. And then the parents, after realizing that there was a girl, they will now go to report that one of the sheep is missing from the other family. And from that negotiation now is where dowry came in. Now, because you have taken our sheep, then what are you willing to bring in the place of that sheep? And then now dowry will be taken. And it was done differently from culture to culture, family to family, clan to clan. But nowadays, you realize that the dowry thing has become more of an economic activity.
Okay. Hold on a little
Yes.
bit before we talk about dowry now. So, dowry then, what are some of the items or some of the things they used to give to the lady or to the woman's side for the dowry?
For those days, there was a specific dowry, or what you call bride price, for every family. You realize that in this family, they would count maybe heads of cattle or heads of sheep or heads of goats. There was a kabuti, a jacket, there was some honey, some beer. So it will depend on a family. My culture, mostly it was some head of cattle, sheep, honey, beer, and some clothes. That was more of my culture. But you realize for every culture, there's a whole difference how they approach the dowry. But every family has its own dowry, and that was set before, and that is what they actually now they're able to present to the bride's family, and that is what they expected to bring. And the major principle, actually, as we close on that, is that whatever was given for the mother is what is supposed to be given for the daughter. Yeah, so you could not add or reduce. It was exactly the same thing that was given.
So dowry then was more about honor, right?
It
And
was more.
communities coming together and clans coming together.
Okay, obviously, there is a whole debate, Linda, because uh, when different people look at it, they feel like it was objectifying the women. But others who feel like it was just appreciation and bringing the family together. And those people who feel like it was objectifying or pricing the woman, they have this point, why not for the man if it's about honor? Or, you know, why not both sides? Why one side? So that is the whole debate around the issue, that we shall never agree, where some feel it is more of an honor, but others feel, no, this is more about objectifying the woman and making her a product rather than a person.
Okay.
Yes, we may never agree.
All right. Fast forward, things have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about dowry now.
Dowry has become complicated today for various reasons, and I think I'm going to try to capture the very important ones. First, the preset figures that were there have been distorted by modern day changes, whereby now, even if we would give, let's say, uh, 10 head of cattle, but now they have been turned into money sense, money value. So you realize the figure may remain, the number of the cattle may remain, but the value has shifted. So you hear now people say, in my family, one head of cattle is at 10,000. The same head of cattle would be valued at 100,000 in another family. So that has made it complicated. Number two, there has been an issue where you realize education has made things complicated. That one lady is more educated than the other has made some families to feel more entitled than some other families. And I think the third scenario has come up is where the commercialization of dowry has made it hard for the men, because let's go back and say that it is the community that used to handle dowry. But you realize in our current generation, with the absence of the family unit and the becoming weaker of the fatherhood, it is men who actually take care of their dowry. It is a responsibility that has been passed to them. And that means that you as a man, you're the one to take care of that. Actually, even your father is not involved. You find that at some point you are even paying fare for your own father. Unlike before, where the father would contribute most of the dowry for the son. So that has changed now a lot, why it is becoming a difficult. And I think that's an area we're going to explore. And I think the last thing is where the women feel like they're entitled to be paid dowry by the men. The women themselves, not even the society. So the women, they feel like the higher the dowry, the more respect they win from their family. Even coming to collude with their families that, yeah, they are good, ask for higher dowry. So this is a woman who is actually inciting her own family to ask for dowry. So what I would say is, the change of culture has confused this dowry, because we insist it remains, and we make it even harder for the man, because it is now more of a commercial benefit than a cultural process.
Yeah.
And that has made it harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when a man goes to the woman's family,
Yeah.
and then he's slapped with a very long list of the items or the things that he's supposed to bring for the dowry.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, the pressure that comes with that. Mm.
This is my feeling, Linda, though I know as a counselor, my views have progressed in a big way. I feel that the dowry thing has been stretched too much. It is not supposed to be the way people are handling it. It is like a payment that is put on top of the woman, the investment the family has done on the woman. But actually, it is good to have an explanation, because there is a feeling that families that are giving away the woman are losing her. But I think that is something that is not happening per se when you look at the scenarios of our current generation of marriages, because it is most likely that men actually are going to help their family lesser than women. So it's a double benefit for women, because their families benefit from the dowry, and then they get into marriages and their families even benefit further. So it is an injustice actually to the man. So the way of looking at it all has become wrong totally, and I don't agree with it. I would feel like we take dowry more of an appreciation, of a gift, that we are creating a relationship with this family. The long list that has come up has really become a big challenge, because it is making men leave that family with bitterness in their hearts, because they were forced to invest even beyond their capacity. And you realize that the relationship now starts at a bad place. So I think those are the scenarios playing around in many married negotiations. And having stood behind very many couples into marriage, this is something we have become familiar with, whereby even you as a best couple, you are forced to dig deep, friends, family. By the time this marriage is happening, the grudges are already there, the pain is already there, because you feel it was not worth it. And it is made hard by the fact that there has been an increase of single parenting, and some of these men have to handle the issue of the mother-in-law, who maybe has not been able to take their dowry themselves, to handle their dowry first, and then now come and receive dowry for themselves for their daughter. So things have become very complicated, and so it's not a good thing. It is not something that is being celebrated. Actually, it's become a burden.
Yes, it
Yes.
has, because there are men who have been walking away on the same.
Yes.
Unaenda unaslapiwa na a very big list, and then you're like, seriously.
Yeah.
So to avoid too much pressure and all those things, they opt to walk out and maybe get someone else who is a little bit more reasonable. And on the same, we have seen young people not wanting to settle down because of one, and others who opt to settle down fast,
Yeah.
and then wanapeleka nini baadaye.
Very true. Actually, there are those options that people create. This is what I can tell you when you study culture. Culture creates scenarios because of the things that it advocates for. In this scenario, men are first avoiding marriage. So they say, I think until I'm ready, and you realize the age of marriage is going higher as you progress. Previously, many men would settle between 23, 24, 25, but right now, actually, men are moving all the way to 35. And when you ask why, they'll tell you, I think I need to be ready. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to appear like I'm a weak man. The other option that men are opting is to cohabit. And that is why church weddings have decreased, even to the point where we as church leaders are getting concerned, because men are preferring they break the leg, as we call it, make women pregnant, and then negotiate from a point of no return. Because now, when already a woman is pregnant or she has a baby already, you can't go to slap somebody with such a heavy list, because you are afraid they may walk away and leave you with a broken lamb. Yeah, so it's a psychological reaction to these issues. And I think the last option men are opting is to never go. Actually, you find that there are men who have stayed with women for even 20 years, plus years. He has never gone back to her family, and he is comfortable. And when a woman raises that issue, it becomes a bone of contention. And according to the woman, you're living with me illegally, because also there is a certain emotional desire for a woman to be recognized in marriage culturally. There is always that desire. So that has complicated things. And I think the whole thing is that issue of, I would say, is magnifying. People have amplified dowry prices to a very high degree, which is actually unfair. And especially when the man is able, they hatch a plan to sack the man, with a plan that is supported by the woman, the mother, the father, and the whole community. You finish with the wazes, the pastor comes in. You finish with the pastor, the aunties come in. You finish with the aunties, uncles come in. After you're done, you feeling you are done. Uh, there is another group of chefs, the caterers, that are waiting for you. After that, the mamas who sang, they are waiting for you. And each and every one of those teams is asking for something. It may look small, but cumulatively, it's going to leave you actually. And the question is that investment worth it? Is it worth it, considering the couple and where they are going as a family? Yeah, I think that those are the questions that we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about the WhatsApp groups
Yes.
that are created ama the links that they send. Nimepata mtu, I want to settle down, nataka kwenda nyumbani kuraia. Now the dowry, now to pay the bride price, and I want people to help me raise the funds for the same. Do you think, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It would depend with a lot, and that is not an area I would want to say yes or no. The reason is this: culturally, we have always been known to support one another. And I think that is the same thinking that men are applying, seeking for support for the dowry negotiations or paying the bride price per se. I'll quote a case which can help us to see why it is not easy for especially leaders, to say it is wrong or right. Several years ago, a young man wanted to actually go and pay dowry, and he had prepared well. Uh, Only to be shocked when he went to the mother. He was from a single parent family. And actually, the mother told him that he cannot pay the bride price before he has sorted her own bride price. Yeah. So whatever he had gathered, he had to go and buy off, you know, buy off the mother before now they could go and handle his own bride price for the wife.
But it's not his responsibility.
It is not, but what could he do? What could he do? He had no option about that. So he had to sort out the mother, and then now start now planning for his own. You see now that demanded for him to seek for help. So it is a case by case basis. I think what I would say is, if it is possible, I think a bride price should be more catered by the man. I think is a sense of it that comes in, but it would also be okay for him to seek support from some of his friends, but I wouldn't feel it would be very comfortable to have a WhatsApp group for bride price, because it is not received well by the people. Actually, the reception of bride price is lower than actually of the wedding, because people feel that this should be more of your responsibility and the people close to you, your family members. When you sorted that out, then come and tell us now, come and support us with the wedding. And I think that makes more sense. Yeah.
Actually makes sense when they do it like that, but you see now the problem is they invite everyone kwa hizo groups, hata ni mtu hata ujui, you have no relationship with this person, you don't even know their names, maybe it's someone you saw somewhere, you exchange contact and that's it, and you've already sent them the WhatsApp nini invite at they help you raise the funds for the dowry. People do not take that seriously. Actually, there's someone who said if you cannot pay your own bride price, then why are you marrying?
It's a question that will always be asked, and it is asked also from a point of tiredness and fatigue, because people have gotten tired of standing with people for those issues. And I'll tell you why marriage issues are becoming difficult to support. Even if we would want to say that the person has a certain explanation for why they should be supported, it is because, Linda, we have seen also people take advantage of those fundraisers to actually take a lesser bride price than the one they have raised. That is in the record. Number two, there has been a trend of people fundraising and actually not going on with a marriage plan. Those are issues that are there. But also, the many failed marriages are making people jittery about supporting dowry and marriage plans, where you feel like, I invested in this couple and it has not worked. I'll tell you even of my personal experience. One of the things that I hold on to a godly marriage, it's not the main reason, but it's one of the reasons, are the old mamas in the village who came with 50 shillings, 100 bob. Actually, it is not the people who gave us 10,000, 20,000. It was the old mamas who believed in us and brought us 50 shillings, 100 shillings. I always feel indebted to them, and I have to work for the marriage, because I feel if this marriage does not work and they sacrifice maybe their last meal to come and be a blessing, then those are the things that are following people and releasing many, many curses, though that's a debatable issue. My point is, marriages have failed so much that people are not willing to stand. Even though we would want to explain away that somebody is in need, but I still stand with that idea that for dowry, seek support from your family and the closest of friends, that you can be open to them that, hey, dowry imepanda, this is what I have. And I think if I was asked, it would be better for somebody to raise more than 50%, but that's my view. When you have raised 50% plus, and then now you're seeking for support from your family, your father, mother, your siblings, and those very close friends, they understand you. But it's unfair, like you need a dowry of 500,000 and the only thing you have is 50,000. You see, then people have questions on that. So I think as you plan for marriage as a man, it's good to factor and plan in advance of what will be needed, instead of straining people from dowry, then you straining them to the wedding. It doesn't add up well. Yes.
All right. Now, how has this shift affected marriages?
Wow, in a big way. And I'll tell you this, Linda. Do you know many men feel entitled? Entitled that they can mistreat a woman, entitled that they can misuse the woman, entitled that the woman should cook for them, take care of their kids, wash their clothes. The woman does not do it because she's in love, but she does because culture tied her down. And that is why marriages are breaking, because women are getting to a point where they say, I think I need to break these yokes. You know, not going to do these things for you. And this thing has been made complicated because when it comes to the marriage, men and women are providing almost at an equal measure, and even sometimes women providing more. These are complicated issues. So my point is, I think dowry should be removed as one of the parameters of marriage decisions, because it makes things complicated. It disempowers the woman as it empowers the man, but also it sends a man to a place of entitlement. And actually, they have a right to feel the same because of the pressure they have received.
Okay, should it be removed or we reinvent it?
When I say it should be removed, I'm not talking about it culturally. It should be for the couple. It should not be a factor of their decisions within the marriage. They should take it more as an appreciation. And this is where I want to challenge women that don't collude with your family to defraud a man, because that's the only word I can use. Don't collude with your mother and your father to defraud your husband, because actually you are hurting yourself in this process, because you're going to get a bitter man and a very wounded man. This man is not going to be good for you. So get out of that marital bride price as a factor of your marriage, and put it more as an appreciation to the parents, because that will be a blessing in the long run to your marriage. I think the other thing I have seen couples do, and it helps, is to actually raise the dowry together. You know, as a man and woman, that makes the burden less on the man, but it also makes the man feel that you are actually in this.
Wait, pause. Did you say like a man and a woman wanasaidiana ku raise the bride price?
You contribute a bit of it to your own bride price. Because the message you are sending to a man is that I am not measuring your masculinity by this bride price. Yeah, it actually makes it easy for the two of you. Not like you paying your bride price, like my man is not able, I'm going to pay. That one actually makes things worse. But what I'm saying is that you can chip in as the family is chipping in. You can say, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to support you with 10K or 20K or whatever you can manage.
But
Because
chini ya maji, right?
no, that should be done chini ya maji. Completely, yes, yes. And that creates a bond between the two of you that a man will not take you for granted. But if you become part of the team pressuring the man, then you destroy your marriage in the long run. Because the man will always feel whatever you do is for the benefit of your family, not your family now the one you have started. So that aspect of contributing and going it slow to the man is not actually to make him feel less a man. It is a way of telling him, I am together with you, and our family is more important than my family back home. Yeah, it helps in the long run. But it has to be done discreetly and not like so much that it overwhelms the man's contribution. That creates problems. Yes. Yeah, ni kuchip in tu vile tu brother yako anaweza sema nimekupatia 5K at least kukuboost kwa your dowry. Yeah, the woman can say nimekuchip in na kidogo. It's just to say I'm supporting you in this. And also telling you that I'm not a product. You're not buying me. If I can't buy myself, you're also not buying me. Yeah, but the extreme of contributing the whole amount has made many families also to separate, because a man will never feel a man. So I don't support that for women. And I say, you don't have, I'm okay, I'm good. I've made savings, I've earned, take the amount. That will not help, because a man has not invested in you. And that will create a wrong feeling in the process of time.
All right.
Yes.
So there is someone that posted something on TikTok that touched a nerve, and I quote, he said, before saying I do, know the law too. The High Court now rules that dowry can be refunded after divorce, depending on circumstances. Now, there are different reactions. There are men who are like, they celebrate, they're like, hey, yes, finally mnaturudishia tukidivorce. There's someone who commented and said, Ukambani hata ulete nini, tukimalizana mbuzi ni moja, kwanza kiwete na inafaa kuwa kipofu pia, shauri yenu. There's another one who said, itabidi tukae kwa baba zetu na nyinyi mkae na dawari zenu. Someone else said, kama dowry inarudishwa, pia mileage irudishwe vile ilikuwa. And someone else, what about my body? You know, I came to your house nikiwa msichana, and now I have like 2 kids or 3 kids. Hiyo utanirudishia hiyo?
Okay. I saw that issue, I think, I'm not sure if it's a month ago, and I was interested to understand more. Unfortunately, Linda, we have to agree. Culture and the law, they will never, I would say, align perfectly. The law does not consider the wasting, as women will call it. As we say, vitu zimeanguka zote, you know, my value has gone down. And that brings us finally to the same point that you were saying, that this dowry looks like it is buying off somebody, meaning that that money can be returned without looking all the other factors that have taken place up to that point. I think if I was asked as a legal scholar, there must be a balance between the return of the dowry and the responsibility towards a woman's time that has passed. I think they still have a point. However, at the end of the day, these things will never be equal and will never agree, because the law is assuming that this was a transaction. Yeah. And now because the transaction is over, then return what was given. But now people ask about the kids, about my body, about my time. Then you realize that we can also argue that as a man, I have also wasted. As a man, I've also increased in age. So the same difficulty you're talking about is the same, obviously with the differences because of the sexuality differences. But now the issues that will come also before the judge are the issues of parenting, custody of the kids, taking care of needs for the different spouses depending on the properties they have built together. So those are legal issues that will be answered. Yeah. But I don't think it is possible to sit and equate the time that has passed and equate it with the money that was given, because money was not given for the time you're going to spend together. Money was given because this is a woman that you are getting married to, and she deserved that bride price that you paid. And that is it. Okay. It was a transaction.
But you know, there are communities that mukiachana, you'll have to refund, like the Kisii community. Yeah. Once you divorce or separate, you'll have to refund that dowry. Kuonyesha sasa mmeachana sasa kabisa. She can now go on ahead and settle with someone else.
Even my culture, actually, there is a dowry return. But the way it is done, it's done figuratively or symbolically, not by piece, because maybe that would not be possible. Because even those maybe that were given actually are not there even to return that dowry. So because of that, they may be done symbolically, as you're saying with the Kamba people. You return one item and it signifies that that marriage is now culturally broken, even as you go to the court of law. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we should change the mentality that we have. You know,
Yeah.
when you are giving the bride price,
Yes.
you are not like buying the woman.
Yeah.
It is a way of appreciating. Yeah. So, Rev, what are your closing remarks on all this?
There is something that I feel good to say as we go to winding up, and this is for women. What I would feel, there should be clear communication on the expectations, because also you find that men are caught off guard. There should be clear communication in advance about what is expected of dowry. Actually, even if it is possible to do a pre-dowry conference with the parents, the better. So that even as you enter into that house or that negotiating table, you are actually in a position to know what is going to be expected of me as a man, and from this culture, what do they expect, and put everything in perspective. The other thing I think is women should participate more in this decision rather than just leaving it to the old men or the uncles or the larger family, because actually the investment in dowry does not affect their family more, it affects this specific new family they have created. And I think also it is good, as you're saying, with the new dynamics of legal judgments that have been done, for families to know that even as they receive dowry, a day may come and they may be forced to return that dowry. And I think that is also something to look at. Let me handle the sensitive issue of the educated woman, because that's where I think many men are struggling. What I can say is families should be very, very clear that the benefits they receive from women should not be seen more in the dowry but more on the cumulative capital and investment they bring back to their families when they are educated. So when they demand for more capital in terms of dowry, then they lose out on the capital within the marriage, which actually maybe cumulatively would be more. Because now a man will feel, because you have invested with you, now don't tell me about investing in your family. I think the dowry was enough. So that thinking should be more guiding the families than the previous thinking. But I think finally I would feel that dowry should be approached more of a relationship builder, as a gift, as appreciation, as honor, more than an obligation or a transaction. With that approach, it would be easier, it would be more fruitful and more profitable to the family in the long run. Both families, because Linda, if, for example, the way my parents treated me, and they took me with the lightness that I had, and they never kind of made me feel not enough, I feel I go back home there without any challenge. And that has created a better bond between the two families. But if they pushed me to the limit, then I would even be avoiding going home, because it created a problem. So let families remember, when they are doing these difficult things, wanaharibu hiyo uhusiano na haitawasaidia at the end of the day. And I think the last thing I would say is that the church should relook this thing of dowry payment, and if possible to align it more to spiritual Christian standards more than cultural standards, because people retreat back to culture when it suits them, and then they run away from it when it does not suit them. So you find that there's a game that is being played around, with the people just demanding this because culture demands. So I think pastors, we have work cut out to bring more of alignment to spiritual standards, even though we are carrying out cultural activity. And actually, to tell you the truth, as a pastor, I have said, and I have told my church, I will not be attending those dowry negotiations, because I have realized they are crossing boundaries, which I subscribe to as a Christian believer and a pastor. And I feel like, finish your business, bring me people on the altar, I do what I'm supposed to do. But I'm not going to be part of those negotiations anymore, especially for the church members. Only for those family members where I'm involved, because I've seen the damage they are doing to couples and their future. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Reverend Eliud.
Karibu sana.
Tell us what you think about this thing called dowry. Drop a comment on our channel, Golden Act TV ARC. Don't forget to subscribe and to share with your friends. Thank you.
The Golden Act TV, subscribe. Thank you for watching.